Ladies and gentlemen, it is Champs season, and boy, do we have a special episode for you guys today. Welcome back to the Round 11 podcast. As always, Cruz and Spaz here. Alongside me, I got Zach Benoit, we got Zarin Cod, and joining us for the first time in months, we have the beautiful, wonderful, making his return to the internet, TS Chance. James, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's good to be back.
Very nice to have you back. And Zarin, it's Champs season. I know you're hyped. How are you feeling?
Well, I've been sick the last week or so. Got my COVID test on Friday, came back negative, so that's a good sign. Feeling like shit, but I enjoyed me some Challengers competition over the last weekend. I'm looking forward to Champs this weekend, so I'm excited to see what these teams got.
Very nice. And Zach, how are you feeling today going into Champs?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, Champs is looking like it's gonna be pretty interesting. Got the nice little shirt on.
Oh yeah, look, we all dressed
We all
up.
have to get a little bit fancy,
little bit fancy for today.
It's a big deal.
So we got special
First
playoff
chance.
beards coming on for me and Zarin. Although I'm probably gonna end up shaving mine before Montreal gets kicked out, but you know, it is what it is. Work is a thing.
Absolutely.
Honestly, guys, I'm just very excited to head into Champs. It's been a little bit since we've done a podcast. First time ever having all four of us here on the podcast today. I'm gonna just throw up the bracket really quick for Champs here. So basically, we this weekend we're gonna have not this weekend. Starting on Wednesday, we're gonna have our first four matchups of Champs. I think there's two on Wednesday, two on Thursday, and we start with winners round one, which is gonna be the Subliners versus Roker, and then Royal Ravens versus Ultra, and then on Thursday we'll have Optic Gaming LA versus the LA Gorillas. And then the Paris Legion versus Seattle Surge. So it should be very interesting, at least, to see from those four teams to start Champs. Later in the show, we're going to get more into our predictions and talking about what we think is going to go on through these through this event. And I believe it is a 2-weekend event, so that should be also interesting.
Sure.
That might make some of our predictions and how they go different ways. Really quick though, I do want to throw it to Zarin. He's gonna run us through the Challenger Series finals, which happened last weekend. I'm gonna throw that bracket up really quick. This is just the winners final bracket, but Zarin, if you want to go ahead and talk about that really quick.
Yeah, so just before we kind of touch on NA, shout out to the EU champs, Team War. I don't think this really surprised anyone. They, once again, I think it was upwards of their 7th or 8th tournament win this year. Vortex, Dave, Denza, Payne, and Astro, I believe his name is.
Did they beat SNG again in the finals?
Yes.
Yeah.
So War ended up taking down Singularity, but Singularity, who again has been in a flip a coin between them and War all season long, pretty much. They actually took them down in the winners final. So Team War won 2 best-of-5s off of Singularity, coming back from the losers bracket to win Champs. So congratulations to them. Well deserved. They were the best team all year long. But again, shout out to Singularity and our boy Phoenix, the coach of Singularity. Those guys are a force to be reckoned with. They will be next year, and I'd like to see some of those guys get their shot in the pro scene, as well as the guys on War. Obviously, you play that well all year long. Definitely deserve a shot. And we'll see heading into next year, but obviously we'll talk on that in a future episode. Now, getting into the NA scene, as you see on your bracket, Triumph did come away with the victory. They were a favorite coming in, probably not the favorite, but a favorite for sure. Of course, that team is with the likes of Diamond Con, Fellow, Standy, Nagafin, and Royalty.
I'd say they were definitely a favorite going in. One of them.
Yeah, one of them for sure. Diamond Con was the new addition. It was Paul X that was dropped, or he left, I believe, one event ago or 2 events ago. I'm not entirely sure, but Diamond Con coming in, good Canadian kid. Him and Royalty, both Canadian, coming in, and just they really mopped the floor with everybody this weekend. Entire winners bracket run the entire way, so it's nice to see them. They dominated pretty much every team they played, but coming in second place was Carnage Gaming. They actually got taken down in 4 maps in the grand finals, and a lot of you may ask, who the hell Carnage Gaming is. Well, these guys, they shocked everybody. They shocked the entire amateur scene. I actually had the privilege of casting them a few months back for National Gaming Events finals, where they again destroyed everybody. Carnage, their roster looks like Nightmare, Gunsy, Rizza, Pure, and Hunt. And again, I had the opportunity to cast them, and I'm so grateful I did because I saw just how good they were and how good they could have been, and that's what they proved this weekend. They I just want to go through some of the teams that they took down in order to get to the grand finals. So they got knocked out in winners round 3, knocked down to the losers bracket. They took down 5-star with the likes of Goonjar, Parasite, Exotic, Fire, and
Basically, a team of household names.
yeah, exactly. I forgive me, I can't remember the last name. But they took down Wester, which was, I believe that was TCM's team. I may be wrong on that, but Wester, another favorite coming in, 5-star as well. FaZe Academy, by far the best amateur North American team all season long. They dominated pretty much every tournament they played in. FaZe Academy was knocked down by these guys, Carnage Gaming. So that was absolutely massive. And of course, UIU, another team that's been at the top of the list all season long. So Carnage did some real damage, man. Some of these guys are going to make some noise.
Hopefully, they get their shots next year.
Yeah. I'm not sure how close they will be to getting a pro shot next year. I think they're going to have another prove it year. But if I'm these 5, and assuming we're going to 5v5 next season, I'm looking for Carnage Gaming to be a top tier team, and this is something they can build off of. And I just want to say Nightmare is one of the best ARs I've personally watched in the AM scene, and that guy is a real force to be reckoned with. Gunsy as well, very very good SMG. Basically everybody on the team, very very good players, and it finally all came together for them. So a huge congratulations to them for finishing second at the NA Challengers finals.
It's things that we love to see is upsets for sure.
They're always fun.
And so I know it's been a little bit since we've done a podcast, so we're kind of got to throw it back a little bit to before this last event happened, which is we're going to talk a little bit about some roster changes that happened just to keep kind of everybody updated. So basically, I think the only big roster change was the Optic Gaming roster change. And so that roster change involved the dropping of Chino and Dashi for, who was it? It was Draza and Hollow were picked up. From the first event I seen them play together, wasn't too impressed. It wasn't that big of a difference from what it was before, but you could definitely see that the team was playing with a little bit more fire in my personal view.
Yeah.
They seemed like they were playing to actually play and win, unlike what it seemed like Dashi was doing when Dashi was in the lineup. I don't know if you guys agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dashi mainly just didn't. He doesn't like this game, so he probably wasn't putting his all into it.
Which will be interesting to see if he actually gets picked up next year by a, or if he continues to play professionally next year, like on a pro team.
Mm-hmm.
I think what was really interesting was that everyone saw like the drop of Dashi and the drop of Chino, immediately like, oh, we're dropping 2 guys that have already made their 2 guys who obviously probably who have made their name known in AMs, and it's like, what were they thinking? But like, I gotta credit where credit's due that like Hollow and Draza were able to hold their own in the matches that I saw them play, so it was impressive to watch.
Yeah.
Honestly, like we've seen this a couple times all like this year. Dashi getting taken out, especially right before a huge event. I know it happened for the Toronto event, but 4 or 5 weeks away from champs, and you make that big of a roster change. Obviously, it was something internal. Dashi, without a doubt, is great at Call of Duty. Everybody knows that. But the example or the comparison I like to make is Gunless earlier in the year. It's got to be something internal with whether it's attitude, work ethic, and like James said, obviously he didn't like this game, and it showed. We
Just
don't know.
Just look at the numbers from BO4 to this year. Like it's.
He was probably top 5 in BO4, and he was borderline top 20 in this game. it was just not his game, not his kind of style. He likes those faster, or sorry, those more, I guess, slower paced kind of games. BO4 definitely played a lot different for him.
Well, BO4 is basically a jetpack COD and that's more his style for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like he was a little bit more free in BO4. I think on this team, LA Optics specifically, he was kind of restricted to a role that he wasn't comfortable with, and it showed. So I have no doubt in my mind Dash should be on a team next year. However, I don't think he's going to be. I think it's going to be a cautious signing wherever he does end up. Team has to keep an eye on him because we even saw it with Optic last season, and everything that came out with how abysmal the team chemistry was, and everybody hated each other. It was just a mess. So I don't know about this change, like Draza and Hollow coming in, two kind of unknown names, I suppose, in the scene that just kind of came up and stole their spots. And honestly, I don't like the dropping of Chino. I thought Chino was solid. I think he brings a different energy to the team. He's known to perform well in big tournaments. We saw in World War II how good he was in those big tournaments. I don't like it. I don't know that Draza and Hollow are going to be those difference makers. But then again, you look at a guy like Awakening, who I completely shit on when Florida first made that change.
I think we all did.
I think all of us did.
So, I'm sure James was shitting on them, and even he wasn't even on the podcast. So
it's really hard to say. It really is. It's hard to tell.
Can I just rebuttal your point just one? So my only thing with them is if Slasher can get them in check. I think if everybody buys into Slasher's system, I think that's what the issue was with Dashy, is he wasn't fully buying into Slasher's system. I feel like when you play on Slasher's team, you have to play a very certain way of Call of Duty because he plays that certain way. And if everybody buys in, he can make good teams out of anything, in all honesty. So I'm interested to see, with a month off and a lot of practice, what they're going to come into this tournament and do. I honestly hope that they surprise us and do really well. But
I didn't mean to cut you there.
It's okay. I'm just like, I hope they do really well. I kind of don't see it. I would like to see it, but it's gonna be a hard road. Everybody, I feel like, is gonna be on their top shit. But I feel like if there's a team that is gonna make upsets, it might be this team.
Yeah, like you said, if they can get under the wave of how Slasher wants to play, I think they did that a little bit throughout the tournaments they played in. But it was just they ran into teams that were either hotter that weekend or teams that were obviously a lot stronger than they are. I think that was kind of what happened. Like they were slowly building, like, going into how Slasher wants to play, and it was showing in their gunfights and the kills they were getting. Like on some of their hard points, they were playing really well.
Right.
But I think it's just they were just running into teams that were obviously hotter that weekend, or the teams that were like FaZe or Empire or Huntsman that are obviously higher tier than they are.
Right. And Zarin, I feel like the dropping of Chino more so was due to role issues, more so than anything.
I agree with that, because the energy that he brings to I mean, you see him on Twitter. He's
a good guy.
Yeah, he has that positive vibe, energy, and so it absolutely, you're right. It was a role thing, and Draza and Hollow, I think, feel that quite perfectly. But we'll see how the chemistry flows, because this game, we know that it's a lot about what goes on within the team. So we'll see what happens.
And I'm just interested to hear James' point of view on this. So what do you think of the dropping of Dashy and Chino for Draza and Hollow?
I mean, I kind of like understand it being a role issue with Chino maybe, but I feel like it's smart to drop Dashy in the sense that you want like amateurs are gonna have a bigger will to do well and perform and grind, and someone like Dashy who is already established, everyone knows who he is. He's already one of the top players. If you don't like the game, you're not gonna have that desire to be the best.
It's kind of like Karma.
Yeah, kind of like Karma. Like you kind of know when you've hit your limit. Like Karma retiring, best in the world, but he was done with it. So I think that maybe it was. I don't fully support dropping Chino, but I get it. But I think it was a smart decision to drop Dashy.
I think the other reason that they dropped Chino too was I feel like they felt like they may have a higher season with a ceiling without Chino than with Chino, or you know what I mean? Yeah. So because I feel like maybe they've seen what they can get with Chino, so they picked up.
Yeah, and that's not taking anything away from him, but you definitely want to kind of with new people, see what you can do with them.
For sure. Anything else that we want to go over with that roster change? I don't think there was any other roster changes, right? Besides Aches being dropped from his pro team, or not dropped, but just moved
I
moved
think
on.
it was.
No, I think they had like a mutual departure, and he moved on to playing in the amateur scene. How did they do in the amateur scene or in the amateur thing?
They ended up getting taken out. I believe it was losers round 2. So they had a pretty
Pretty
they
poor
lost
event.
they lost to Carnage Gaming in the winners bracket. They played under highly rated. The 3 big names on that team were TCM, Aches, and Space.
So that team, okay.
Yeah.
Spacely had a pretty bad year altogether, in the MC, and he didn't. He didn't really pop off the way that everybody was expecting him to.
Sorry, they were unjustified. Yeah, they did not lose the Carnage. My apologies. They were taken down in losers round 2, so disappointing run for them. I mean, I even tweeted it on Twitter. I thought they were gonna make a little bit of noise, cause a bit of problems on the upper side of the bracket, but never ended up happening. So Aches and Co, the champs Aches, did not happen. This is his. I believe this is his first champs that he finished outside of the top 8. I could be wrong.
I couldn't tell you. I feel like
I
feel like last year
right
or the year that Optic won, that he didn't as well, but I'm not 100% on that.
IW, I know he finished high again.
Okay. Anyways, I think we're gonna move into more so just talking kind of about the podcast before we move on. So, Zarin, you wanted to talk about a little bit about the off-season plans for the podcast. Since we are kind of back, I think we're going to try to actually keep it rolling through the off-season a little bit. Anything that you want to touch on there?
This is something that I actually thought of a little bit before we started recording. I want people in the comments. I want to know what you guys want us to talk about, topics that we can discuss. But basically, the idea that I kind of had was. We either upload, every Wednesday like we usually do, or every other Wednesday. Smaller, shorter episodes, maybe half hour to an hour, depending on the topic. But I really want to focus on, I think, if it's the 4 of us, which I think we'd all be on board for, I like to focus on, specific topics, have different guests on. Perhaps we can combine episodes at some point. But so it's going to be very, very specific, not as broad as we usually do. But I would think ideally they would be more like half hour, 45-minute episodes.
A little bit shorter of episodes.
Yeah. And if we were to have a guest on, we can include it at the end of the episode, or just have it as a separate episode. It's really, I guess, to our discretion. But I also want to know what you guys think. Topics we can think of, guests you think we could get. Let's not get too crazy here. We're not going to get skunked, let's be honest. But
we aren't going to get simp. I want simp, but I don't think we're going to get it.
Yeah.
We'll also definitely be covering like any major roster changes, things like that happen. So that will be we'll definitely be still trying to cover all of that in our episodes.
We would also probably cover like some of the new game, like when more stuff gets released of that, I'd assume.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Beta drops. We can discuss how the game feels. Just
how to get a beta code going into the game.
Yeah, there you go.
And
how to get the alpha code.
You guys should also definitely follow us. Like while we're talking about this, you guys should definitely all follow us on our Twitch channels because we're always streaming. Most of us. Yeah. I mean, more so me and Zarin, but definitely
I tend to.
And bit. Also, me and Zarin do cast a lot of tournaments now, so you guys should definitely come follow us there. If you guys want to follow some good amateur scene, we're going to be trying to throw some tournaments too this summer. I know that was a plan, but this off season. Summer is kind of over, but. So,
oh my God, it is.
It's crazy.
A lot of big things coming. So yeah, that's basically what I was kind of thinking for the podcast. Probably not starting until after the second week of champs.
Yeah.
Just so we can kind of get our heads back in the game, because I know a few of us are going back to work.
School.
Lot of stuff going on. School, yeah. Me and Zach are going back to school. It's gonna be. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, but that's the plan for the podcast. We're not going anywhere. We want to get back on a good schedule, and more exciting shit to come, basically.
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
I just said well said.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody is looking forward to this off season though. Like even pro players, and just because it doesn't seem like many people want to continue to be playing Modern Warfare, except for Warzone. I hope Warzone continues to pop off. In all honesty, because like it's bringing.
What do you mean? It's all the Fall Guys now.
Yeah.
All the pros are gonna be playing Fall Guys.
Well, I mean, maybe if they keep the. Did you guys see the new shotgun glitch that's in Warzone that came out today on the FAMAS? Oh my god, it is so stupid. Did you see it, Zarin?
No, I didn't.
It's literally
You can basically one shot.
They buffed the range on the FAMAS. So in like doing it kind of glitched the shotgun under barrel on the FAMAS, and so now when people use it, they're like mapping people like 725 mapping, but killing them in one shot full armor.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It's actually so stupid.
Well, I think Warzone is going to continue even past this year.
I'm actually sorry. Go ahead. I'm just interested to know something.
I don't want to go too far off topic, but it's just really frustrating the last couple of years that, you know, they've prioritized, the game developers have prioritized Battle Royale over the actual multiplayer or even campaign for that matter. Black Ops 4 didn't even have a fucking campaign. I know the thing is now multiplayer and whatever, but Call of Duty was built on their campaigns. And the fact that there wasn't even one last year, and there probably, I mean, I don't know, I can't even say, but the fact that there wasn't one last year is very disappointing. And the one this year was like, 10 hours long. It's
no
sad.
campaign last year, so they could focus on multiplayer, and then this year, like Warzone technically is multiplayer, but then they announced that that's going to be like their focus going forward.
I don't
It's
think
like,
next year's gonna have a campaign either. I'm gonna be dead honest because Treyarch's their development cycle got cut a year, right, because of them taking out Sledgehammer. So I really doubt that there's a campaign in next year's game. But what I am interested to know from you guys is how are you guys excited to see Treyarch take over Warzone? Because that's the rumor, is that they're going to be moving Warzone to Treyarch, all like whatever the new guns are in the new game.
Yeah,
it's going to be
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think that they're going to take out the guns that are in the game currently and put in all new guns for the new game, which I'm actually kind of excited to see myself.
Honestly, I don't give two shits what they do with Warzone, who gets Warzone. I don't give a fuck. I just want the multiplayer to be good. If we have good balanced guns, good balanced TTK,
And at least we're going back to Treyarch, so we know that they're going to be. We know at least they're going to work on their damn
play lobby.
Just no fucking. Oh my god, 12 hertz servers? Are you fucking kidding me? This is the first time we've had to deal with this shit in 11, 12 years. Servers on Call of Duty. Why in 2019 when they made this game, were they like, yeah, we'll give hundreds of thousands of people, no, millions of people 12 hertz servers to play on. Doesn't matter where the fuck you are. But no, we got to plan dedicated servers now.
Oh, I do have a little question going into next year, since Zarin doesn't want to talk about Warzone at all. My only question going into next year then would be, looking forward to it. I totally blanked out on what my question was. What would you guys besides development support and all that? What are some things that you guys would want to see in next year's title?
It's a Black Ops. It's going to be like the Cold War, right?
Yeah.
I think that was already released. I mean, I think it'd be cool if they bring back obviously they're gonna have zombies, and I'd assume it's Treyarch.
Talking multiplayer wise, Zach.
Multiple. I mean, I still kind of consider zombies multiplayer. No.
No, we're talking competitive multiplayer. What are some things that you want to see in the game?
Advanced movement, some form of advanced movement. Even if it's BO4,
the super slide.
Yeah, super slide.
I want the shot punch back. Actually,
yeah,
I want the dolphin dive so you can just bash the window.
I just want
right onto the hill.
I want the M8 from BO3 back, and I'll be good.
I want
the M4, the one from BO2. M4 MC. Wow, what's it called? God, I can't remember.
MXMC.
MXMC. I want that gun back. That was the beauty gun. That was the beauty.
Anyway, is there what were you trying to say?
I was watching some old videos the other night, watching World War II comp videos, and And I was just watching it, and that was such a beautifully balanced game as far as like movement mechanics. The guns were good. It's just everything. Like, me
It
personally,
just
I didn't
sucked
like
that.
the game.
It just unfortunate how bad the maps were in that game as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Me personally, I didn't like the look of the game. I didn't really like the feel of it. But just watching it, I think it's really underappreciated of how good a multiplayer game it actually was. So like, we don't need. Okay, if there's stim,
I don't know.
I'm going to Valorant full time. I can't do it. Stim, Black Ops 4 again was a fairly decent game. It's better than Modern Warfare, I think.
I honestly think Black Ops 4 competitively was better than than World War II competitively. Personally,
it's also nice.
I had so much more fun watching it too, though. That's the thing, right? Like,
I was gonna say it's also nice not to have to in BO4 watch domination and know a minute and a half before it's over who's gonna win.
oh, that's actually a really good
Statistically,
point too. What do you guys think is going to be the third game mode next year? That's
I
because
hope they
I
bring
hope it's
some-
not going to be domination. I can tell you that. There's not a chance.
Yeah, I hope there's
Bring-
some form of like gridiron.
Bring
Like,
back Blitz.
Obviously, Blitz.
Yeah,
well,
I know what you
there's no
mean. You want
advanced
like
movement.
you want like an uplink type of thing. I know what you mean.
Yeah, because like in World War II, what they go one event, or did they even make an event?
I
with
feel like
gridiron?
Control was a good third game mode.
Yeah, control was good.
I hate Control so much. It was no. I disagree. I think
I'd only like control if it took place of hardpoint
right.
because they're
I think honestly, assuming it's 5v5 next year, 5v5 CTF might be the most exciting CTF we've ever had.
I want 4v4 so bad back next year.
I would
Did you,
love
I
4v4.
don't mean to keep switching the topic. Did you hear that the thing that Attach said on his stream?
Yeah,
Leaking
he's
that it
yeah
could
he leaked
potentially
that
be
it's
back to
probably going to be
4v4?
back to 4v4. Yeah.
don't. My only thought on that is some of these players who are tied into like 2 or 3 year contracts
They're going to get
You start
traded
this year.
around. For
either
sure.
get traded or you
That's
just get
why this offseason is going to be pretty
Did-
interesting.
you just get benched.
Yeah, and
Like-
this will be an interesting topic, that we'll talk about in a later episode. But you look at a team like Dallas, like who's the odd man out?
That
Look at
even
teams like
Chicago,
FaZe.
even
Who's the
Chicago,
odd man out? Chicago, FaZe. Who's the odd man
Phase,
out?
yeah.
because
Who do you
like
take out of
because
that
like you
lineup?
look at Chicago, you're like, bro, you can't drop Envoy, and like everybody else is kind of a duo after him.
Right.
So it's like,
Right, like-
which duo is getting split?
You look at Dallas and you think, well, obviously Clayster's the obvious choice. But then again, you're like, well, it's
Wait,
fucking
no,
Clay.
no, he's not. Exactly.
But it's Clayster.
Like, yeah, you can't. It's gonna be interesting. But again, we'll talk about that in the future episode. That's another topic I like actually.
I wonder where John's gonna go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
another
great
player, yeah.
fucking thing too.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so see,
And
guys, we're gonna have lots of topics to
We-
talk
we have
about in the
tons
off
to talk
season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If
We're
he
just
even
gonna-
comes back.
I wonder if another city is going to buy in if it goes 4v4 though.
Well, I mean, I don't
I
know.
agree.
Oh, that's what my question was gonna be. Now, thank you for reminding me. Are they gonna do a land bubble next year, or is it gonna be online next year as well? Is another great topic. I hope they do a land bubble. I really
Land
do.
bubble,
I think would be really interesting.
Like,
That would be awesome.
like, think about it. They did the fucking land bubble last year for Columbus, like basically.
they have
So they have
MLB studios in
all
Columbus
they have
this year.
all the fucking like reason to be able to do it. I can't see them playing online again next year after all the
Every-
issues this year.
Every land essentially is a bubble if there's no fans, because they all stay in the same hotel.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
go
They won't be going around to like place to
He
place
means
either.
the
Right?
Yeah.
same place all season.
Yeah, which is very possible. I think.
Well, I think Columbus is the obvious choice for that.
Yeah. Well,
Either
I
that,
mean, it's
either
not.
that or
This is all- this is all
Frisco for the
future
esports stadium.
podcasts.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Frisco's esports stadium. That would be a really good one too, actually.
Hey, I mean, Nashville, we have an esports stadium in the local Walmart.
Yeah, I don't think really anybody wants to go there.
Imagine Pod Champs
In Nashville, Tennessee.
Pod
Uh,
Champs, the Walmart parking lot.
Oh my god! All right,
Change
but
the
we're definitely getting we're definitely getting way off topic now.
we are so far off.
But talking about that though, would you guys like rather see the land league than it be online again next year? I feel like everybody would.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be better COD by
Yeah.
a mile.
All right, I'm glad that everybody's on the same wave for that one.
Guys,
I do kind of enjoy watching online and watching a team just get absolutely stomped on, and then all of their face cams start turning off one by one. That is a little entertaining.
That is definitely.
Highlight of the,
I love watching them
was,
when they flip the camera. They're just like, get the fuck out of my face.
Or the
Yeah.
best one was Dylan. They lost and he just smacked it right off.
Yep.
Yeah. Some
When
of
they've given up hope.
they could probably do a compilation of everybody just smacking their webcams out of the fucking face. Some of them are
They do a
hilarious.
compil-
The
they
other
do a
thing with that
compilation
is
of Buster's dancing.
hopefully there'll be a lot less cheating accusations next year as well. Because
Yeah.
I feel bad for Awakening for all the cheating accusations that he's had, because he's been really good since he's joined into the league. But
That just reminded me. I forgot to bring this up before the podcast, but I wanted to discuss with you guys possible awards like Rookie of the Year, MVP.
that's an after season for
That's
sure.
after?
Yeah,
After
for
season?
sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say like going in, but okay. I
We'll,
understand.
we'll include champs in that conversation as well. I think.
Yeah, there would be like a
Okay.
champs MVP and like a regular season MVP. Anyways, let's throw us back on topic. Power rankings, baby. They're back.
Oh God, these things.
We got
It's a-
we got all four of us here today. We're gonna go off Dick Serto's power rankings from 2 weeks ago, the post Toronto event power rankings, to start this. My power rankings, I was looking at theirs. Mine are definitely very different than Dick Serto's power rankings for the first time in a while. But I got it open here. So coming in at number 12 from Dick Serto, they have the Seattle Surge actually sitting at number 12 on their power rankings. I'll start this off. I do not have Seattle Surge in number 12. I have Seattle in number 11. I think Seattle is not a fantastic team. I don't think they're going to be fantastic at champs. I think Octane is not playing this game at all. He's not having fun playing this game. And I think he's your best player, and they are not going to do very well. But I don't think that they're the worst team.
If Octane walks away without losing any money this weekend from a fine, I think it's a victory. I agree with what you said, James. I think it's a victory in his books.
But where do
He
you,
basically won Worlds.
Zach? Where do you have Seattle at?
I have them at 12 as 12.
Oh, so you agree?
Yeah, I agree. It's nothing against them. It's just there's just been a rough year all around for them, and nothing like it just seemed nothing has gone right for Seattle the entire year. So I kind of like, if I could pity them, I would, but just number 12 is for me.
And James, where do you have them slotted in at?
Same thing.
Number 12 as well.
Yep.
Any reason, or just everything that Zach said, basically?
Literally everything Zach said.
And
They
Zarin,
can't win.
Zarin, I'm sure you have them a little bit
Both of
higher
us.
because you love your
He has them
Seattle
at
Surge.
number 1.
I do love me some Seattle Surge. Look, I have them at number 10. Look, they're a very bad team. I know that. They're
It only took them 8 months. It only took them 8 months.
That's your analysis. I want to hear what you think about number 12. Number 10 is a really bad team.
wait till I get to them.
He says really twice.
I've had Seattle
really,
at 10.
really. Sorry, go ahead.
I've had Seattle at 10 for 3 months. That's where they deserve to be. I think two teams are worse than them, but Seattle's really bad. Two teams are
I will say their only saving grace for Seattle is they are definitely the unluckiest team in the entire league as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Every time that they've had anything going for them, they've had some sort of technical difficulty to fuck them over. So I will say they're
I also
definitely.
just feel bad for the brand itself. These guys lock down karma, and through the season, he's just like, "I'm done." The goat retires. The person you were basing your brand off of is just like,
Retires to go play Fall Guys.
I'm telling you, boys, champs apathy. Look out. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see how they can pull it together in champs. Coming in at number 11 on Dexerto is going to be the Los Angeles Gorillas. Zarin, where do you have Los Angeles slotted in at?
Number 12. I said Seattle was really bad. I know the Gorillas have a top 4 under their belt, but that was also probably the luckiest top 4 I've seen out of any
A
team.
little bit of an easy path to the top 4.
Oh, big time. Seattle's really bad, but the Gorillas are worse. They've been that way all season long. They've had no sign of hope whatsoever. The couple roster changes that they made no difference. Vivid, I think, is their only pretty good player. Aqua's been around a long time. He's a decent player, but Vivid is by far their only hope if they're going to stick with him moving forward. So number 12 for me.
Understandable. And James, where do you got them slotted in at?
I have them at 11 because I have Seattle at 12 still. Um,
Basically, I feel like you can put any of the bottom 3 teams in a spot and get away with it. In all honesty,
yeah, and like I don't think the removal of Aches helped them any. Like I don't think it hurt them. I don't think it helped them.
I don't think
They're
if
just-
Fakes was there that they would be performing any better. In all honesty, we just saw what he did in the Challenger series. So
No, so
Yeah.
they're
And-
staying at 11.
yeah, and Zach, where do you have him slotted in at?
In all honesty, okay, just a disclaimer: the three bottom teams for me can just go either way. Like, personally, don't really think it matters where they sit. But I have Gorillas at 10. That's just because I just didn't. I put them at 10 when they finished 4th, and I just don't think I've moved them since.
I also have the
So-
Gorillas at 10. I think that the
Yeah.
Gorillas are better than Seattle, and
I
better
think-
than
I
my
think the
12th
Gorillas
place
are-
team.
I think the Gorillas are better than the team that's most likely about to be named next.
You're wrong, actually, by Dexerto's power rankings. I looked at them a little bit earlier, which is really crazy. Coming in at number 10 on Dexerto, you guys are about to blow your minds to this one, is the Minnesota Rocker coming in at number 10. I think that is huge disrespect to Minnesota.
I'm
They've
just looking
been
at Zaren's face.
Minnesota has been ass. Don't get me wrong, Minnesota has been ass. They've been playing good teams. They have not been playing well. But I don't think they deserve to be 10. I got them slotted in at number 9. Zaren, I can see your face already. I'm going to go to you next. That just
Is that all 4?
I just think that's disrespectful to put Paris above Minnesota. But
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead, Zaren.
Well, this is peak journalism at its finest here with Dexerto. I honestly want to read the article afterwards, see what they have to say about them to the reasoning.
I can read it to you right now if you want. They said
Yeah, please,
Minnesota have slowly fallen down the power rankings during the CDL season. Having started as championship contenders, they failed to pull off anything significant in several months, placing dead last in their last 3 home series events. The talent is clearly on this team, but they've slowly fallen behind their opposition, and now they find themselves facing an uphill battle to catch up. Which, I mean, it's kind of fair. They really have placed bottom, but they've had very hard groups.
Yeah. But that is such a vague bullshit explanation as to why they put them below Paris. Please read the Paris.
Well,
one.
wait till I tell you. Wait till you see where Paris is, because Paris
Oh my
isn't
God.
next still.
Oh my god. Okay.
I think well just to not necessarily back Dexter up, but like maybe understand the reasoning a little bit. Is Paris did I think won two series in Toronto or I don't know, but they played okay in Toronto. They didn't play great, but they played okay.
They
I think
played better,
Dexter saw them like, oh my god.
for sure.
But, I have Minnesota at number 8. Look, they've been flat out kind of average and very poor at sometimes.
Spectacularly average.
Exactly, and you
Thank
know what?
you,
They've
James.
just kind of treading along. I think they're still a better team than a few of these teams. I don't think they're even close to the bottom 3 teams in the league.
I don't think so either.
And they still have the potential to again do some damage in champs. The thing that confuses me and worries me a little bit is not having Goddard X.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. Who did
just
they put up for him? We totally didn't even talk about that.
I didn't even know about that. Wow.
I told you about that. They dropped Goddard X. I forget who
yeah,
they.
you're right. Yeah.
I forget who they picked up for him. Wow, that actually totally slipped my mind. They
I'll
dropped
check
Goddard
for
X.
you.
They dropped Goddard X. I don't remember who for, but they dropped him, and their explanation for dropping him was because they needed a faster player on the map than Goddard X was. And I just sat there like Goddard X has been your top player all year, and this makes literally 0 sense.
He was arguably MVP caliber
For the first 4 events.
midway through the year for sure.
So just to continue on the power rankings, I had them slot at number 9 as well. And Jesse, I think you said this like months ago on the podcast, but you said that teams have caught up to Minnesota, and that it's like you slotted out their next 3 events, and you said like if they aren't able to get it out of this, they'll kind of prove where they sit. And I think those words that you said were dead on, and the fact that teams are 100% caught up to them.
I'm just the best. I'm the Stephen A. Smith of
Goated.
Call of Duty. I don't know what you mean.
Goated. No, but I just 100% agree with you that it's just teams caught up to them. Again, it's not. Me
I called their
bashing them
decline
saying
a
they're
while
bad
ago.
team.
For sure.
It's not me bashing them saying they're a bad team. They're a very good team still, in my opinion. But again, like the competitiveness, teams caught up to that, and that's why they're placed on my number 9.
It was Exceed that got
Right.
that got slotted in.
I fully do not understand it at all, especially because it's a 2 AR meta now. Like I don't understand it at all. I think it's a stupid move. I'll just say that. I think God RX is like the best player on that team, and
Yeah,
so
honestly, I still think that they're still better than the 4 other teams I have behind them.
now,
But
now,
anyway,
now that I have remembered that, I'm that makes me feel even more confident about how I did my bracket. James, go ahead.
I had Minnesota at 9.
Okay, that's also
like,
where I have Minnesota.
Yeah, because they've slowly been declining, but I actually have Optic at number 10, only just because they've been so turbulent.
Interesting.
Like they have their peaks, but then they also have their valleys, and so I think it's Minnesota holds a little bit of an edge because they've been consistently, but slowly getting worse. And Optic, you can't ever count on them to go a certain way. So I have them flipped.
I hear you. Speaking of Optic, that is number 9 on Dexerto's power rankings. I'm gonna start this one off. I actually have Optic at number 8 still. I don't have them as a bottom 4 team because I feel like I've seen enough out of them to where I can place them higher than Minnesota, especially after that roster change. Now that you guys talk about it, I think that roster change is worse than the roster change Optic made. In all honesty, that God RX roster change is just a very. If they come out this weekend, they prove me wrong. That's great, but I just don't think they're going to. I don't think Exceed is better.
I understand
than
you having him at 8. The only reason I moved him up is because I've talked about it on the past podcast. Like, the thing that's really important to me is consistency. I don't know why, but that's the thing that makes the most impact to me.
It's fair.
So,
I just feel like Minnesota's been consistently bad.
But they did knock out. But yeah, like in Toronto, they did knock out Chicago. So like they obviously have the talent to compete with the best of them. But
who knocked out Chicago?
Optic.
Wasn't it Optic? Thought.
No, Toronto knocked out. Oh yeah, you're right. It was Optic. You're right.
And so it's like we know they have the talent. The talent's there, but it could go either way. Anyways, I was just saying that's why I had him up a little higher.
This is Aaron. Where you got Optic gaming at in your?
I have Optic number 9 because I moved a team up. I'm just not really with this roster change, and I think it's going to impact them more negatively than positively. I'm sorry. I think halfway through the year we saw some sign of Jesus, sorry. We saw some sign of improvement, and they still decided to make that roster change, bringing in Chino instead of whoever. Sorry, I'm very ill.
It's okay.
Don't worry.
We got you, bro. We got you.
I'm not supporting this roster change. I still think, they can beat a team here and there. At champs, we'll see what happens. Like you said, it's up to Slasher to get these guys in gear. I don't see them being better than Minnesota, even with the God RX roster change, but we'll see.
I feel like everybody's entitled to like their own opinion as well, like we've been saying all year. Zach, Optic Gaming for you, where you have them slotted in at?
So there's just 2 teams. It was Optic and another team that I had with 8 and 7 that I would just I kept flip flopping, but I wasn't sure. But I threw Optic in at 7. But like I'm at that same time, I'm kind of thinking it's like they could be the 8 team again. It's just So basically, my 8 team is London, and I just kind of think it's just Optic or London either way. I agree with your points on saying like after the roster move with Minnesota, I believe that Optic is a better team. After the roster move that Minnesota made, they are better than Minnesota. It's just for me, it's always go flip flopping them in London.
It's crazy because I don't know if you guys remember earlier in the year when I said that the league was literally like your top 3 teams, 6 teams, and then your bottom 3 teams.
Yeah.
I feel like right now it's like your bottom 3 teams, then you have like a mid tier of 3 teams, and then you have 6 teams that can win on any weekend. It feels like, like consistency would be a thing, but I really do feel like that's how the league is right now, and that's how I did my power rankings.
Well, I mean, look what happened the last tournament.
Right. So if we go back to the beautiful Dexerto power rankings, we have Paris coming in at number 8. Go ahead. I don't care who takes over. Go ahead. I don't even want
to. I have Paris in at 11 because one, like we all said, they had one decent weekend, or not decent. They had one okay weekend where they just played a little bit better. but I don't think they should have jumped that high on a list. They're not a good team at all. It's like, I'm done. That's all I can really say. I'm done. That's all I can say there about Paris. Zarin can't even talk about Paris.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I feel like I'm ready to discuss this stupid ass power ranking. I have Paris at number 12. I think Paris is a god awful team. I'm gonna rip the fuck into Dexerto here. Look, Paris made the fucking finals. Yes, Paris beat a New York Subliners team in semis, who is like one of the most inconsistent teams I've ever seen in my entire life. In that New York Subliners team. Weekend. Then they beat London, who is also extremely inconsistent, to make it to the grand finals, and then got slapped, not beat. They got absolutely manhandled by Dallas in the fucking finals. Paris is not a good team. That weekend did not convince me otherwise. I don't care they made a grand finals. They are awful. They are gonna be awful this weekend. I just move on, James. Paris.
They're bad.
They're bad. They have potential. Like we obviously know they can play, but nothing's gonna change this season. Like I don't think they're gonna come out.
Kismet's about to come out and fry like you did opening weekend.
Like we always talk about like biggest surprises or upsets, like what we expect. I don't expect anything from Paris. I expect them to stay right where they are.
And Zarin,
get through the season.
Your thoughts on Paris? Sorry, go ahead.
I will say I think they're going to go undefeated in S&D.
The classic prediction.
That's the week one prediction.
Week one prediction.
I think they're going to go defeated in every game.
I don't think they're going to. I don't.
What? To be fair, I think they'll play one series this on Thursday. They'll play one series.
Yeah,
so
get swept 3-0.
They play Seattle though, so there is a chance.
They'll get swept 3-0.
You're saying there's a chance.
I had Seattle winning 3-1. So
I also have Seattle winning 3-1. I have Seattle winning 3-1.
I don't even remember what I put for that.
That's true. That's true. Seattle is not winning that S&D versus Paris.
I put I might have.
So you know what? Paris will go undefeated and search and destroy.
Yeah.
Where was my head at? Oh my god, I must have been like dumb when I made my. That's a 3-0 Paris. Kill me now. I'm so sorry. Oh my god.
Okay, so.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it goes by his predictions because he does have Seattle as the worst team in the league.
Hey, if Kismet goes off, maybe who knows? But
yeah,
that's a bold prediction, though. I will say that might be
if their team goes off.
That might have to be your bold prediction of the weekend there.
3-0. Oh god.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I'll keep my Paris thing short and sweet. I think you nailed it on the head, Jesse. But
what my assholeness to them?
I don't have to say it because you did, but it's the thing with Kismet, right? He was so good week 1, week 2, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, this guy's a real deal. He's going to carry this team. Doesn't even matter if anyone else performs on the team." Since it switched to online, I think that was probably the worst thing to happen to Paris.
Him and Goddard X have been the two worst since going to online, though. I will say that.
Yeah, that he's fallen off a cliff, and it's one thing to see, even if he popped off on the weekend they did make the finals, which he was not good at all. Still,
he wasn't their best player at all.
He's gonna need to be that guy if they want any hope in hell this weekend of making it out of even round 1. So that's going to be the guy I'm looking to. Denza as well, but he's going to have to be that guy this weekend if they want to even win one match. I just don't see it happening. Paris is not a good team. They can't even compete with LA Optic, and I don't think they'll even compete with Seattle this weekend. I haven't met LA.
Well said. Coming in at number 7, we have the London Royal Ravens. I think that's a fair spot to put them in, all honesty. I also have London at number 7. I think London has had a very up and down year. I don't think they're fantastic. I think that they are great when they can pop off. We'll see if they can do it this weekend. I don't see it fully happening. I think Toronto's going to beat them in round 1. I don't know. I feel like Paris is just going to have a hard time. Or sorry, London. I feel like London's going to have a hard time. I'm gonna go to Zarin on this one first. Zarin, what do you think about London?
I also have London at 7. That is the first one I have in sync with Dexerto. So
and you're saying you agree as well
on everything.
Yes,
Every article.
that they've
they're
ever tweeted.
absolutely right.
Which article are we talking about? Like the 5th one this week that they talked about Tim the Tatman not being able to win a Fall Guys, or
Yeah,
Oh, anyone that's ever come out.
yeah, we talk about peak journalism. Anyway,
We stand that.
yeah, exactly. Before we get into, that. London, yeah, it's seven's a fair spot. They've been kind of mediocre all year. We've seen some greatness, some very not so greatness. They've just been average.
We've seen glimmers.
Yeah,
they're just
exactly.
not good enough to crack top 6.
Yeah.
Everybody in the top 6
I
has
think-
won an event.
I take back what I said earlier. Royal Ravens, they're the ones who are spectacularly average.
Yeah, and
You're
they
like,
do.
they're playing, you're like, wow, these guys are
And
good.
it's crazy too because they really
Cool.
should be
And
good.
that's about it.
Yeah, they are very, very, very good at being average. Even with the roster change, we thought Zero was going to come in and change his team.
I mean, they did.
For a
He's
week.
done
They're
well,
average.
but it's just they need that spark, and they just don't quite have it. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's going to happen this weekend either.
Mhm.
And so James, where you got London at?
I said I also had him at 7.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. And
Yeah.
And Zach.
Yeah, that like I said before, I just
Oh,
flip
right.
flopped London and Optic. I have London at 8. It's not that I think they're a worse team than Optic. Like you said, I just think these two teams, in my opinion, are just average. And I think they can come out and have real weekends and be like, oh, I can be a top team, but then they can go and have a really bad weekend, be like, oh, I'm a bottom
Right.
3 team.
And like I said, I feel like it's your 10 through 12 can all compete kind of with each other, and then your 7 through 9 can all compete with each other, and then
Yeah.
it's your top 6 can all compete with each other. In all honesty,
It's crazy. It's
I
crazy.
don't really see upsets coming from that though. It really is, but it's like the more that other teams won events, I feel like is how that changed.
Yeah, because like before we thought it was 10 through 12. It was like those were the 3. Then it was 9 through I think 5. We had it at one point.
Yeah, and
So
then your
those
top
teams,
4
and
were
then
different.
it was top 4. Yeah. It's just
As
crazy
the
how
year
much
went
it's
along
changed.
and more people got better, I guess it changed. Let's see who came in at number 6 here. The New York Subliners coming at number 6 on Dexerto's power rankings. I also have New York at number 6.
I want to hear what Zarin thinks. Based off his
Based off his reaction, I would like so I can kind of
I would like to know what
rebuttal,
Zarin thinks.
so I can kind of
He's ripped
argue
on
back
me-
to 6.
He's
So
ripped on me. He's ripped on me for New York this entire year.
so
This is very interesting to me in the sense that they.
do you want the
Toronto-
description?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I want to hear it. I'm
So
curious.
Dexerto's description for the Subliners, even smaller than the last one. New York Subliners win at their own CDL home series was somewhat of a shock, but then they showed marks of improvement in the prior weeks, and well as deserved. They've perhaps not a top tier team in the same way as Dallas or Atlanta FaZe, but they're good for an upset.
I don't disagree necessarily, and I'm not completely upset at their spot considering my reaction, but that probably probably was-
Where do you have them at?
Where
Where do you have them?
I have New York at number 5.
Okay, so it's not that big of a difference.
I know. So I kind of backtracked a little bit. See, I know Toronto's number 5. It's so hard because I feel like New York was better at being average throughout the year. Like, and I thought after their home series win, they really solidified themselves as a top 5 team. They did have a couple disappointing tournaments afterwards.
I will say if Toronto didn't win the last event, I would still have New York as a top 5 team. But Toronto won, and they looked much better than New York did.
And this is the thing. I'll touch on Toronto in a minute once we bring it up. But I just feel like New York is still a few steps ahead of Toronto, despite Toronto's recent win and how they've looked. New York, I still think is a good team, and honestly, I do agree with them. I
actually disagree with you on New York being a few steps ahead. I think New York has better firepower than Toronto, and I think Toronto
That's
plays
fair.
the game way better than New York does, in my opinion.
No. I can agree. Disagree with that.
I just want to say one thing. I think this might be the first time in all these weeks of the podcast that Zarin has the New York Subliners higher than I have them.
Where do you have New York at?
I have them at number 6 as well.
Yeah, I also have
But
them at 6.
I'm just like,
I think it's a
wow.
fair spot to put. I feel like you could bounce it either way. You could argue both ways.
I think personally, we talked about this before the podcast. You like in this seed of 6 teams, I think you have those top 2, and then the rest. There's been glimpses of really greatness, but then there's been glimpses of what the bleep is going on here. That's my little thing.
I mean, I kind of disagree with you. I kind of feel like that the top 2 teams aren't that far ahead, in all honesty.
Well, no, I'm not. Okay. I didn't mean to say like they're light years ahead, but I meant to say like they've shown that they can just like wipe teams out with like a snap, is what I meant. Like obviously all these teams have
like if they're firing at like full cylinders, then no one's beating them. Basically.
I feel like
Yes,
the top
that's
4
kind of-
teams are like that, not the top 2. I feel like any of the top 4 teams could win any event any weekend.
Yeah, because like I think New York, if they're firing 100%, like yeah, they won that one. I think was it their home event?
Yeah,
Yeah, their home series. But, like if they're firing 100%, maybe top 3. Like it's not they don't have the same effect as like top 2. Like they get counted out basically.
Yeah, I agree. I think like your top 4 teams are just like kind of I wouldn't even say they're a step ahead, but I feel like they've been more consistent all year. And like I would say Florida has been much more consistent since the pickup of Awakening, but like before that they weren't very consistent either. But it's hard not to have them as a top 4 team after having 3 events won as well. So it's kind of hard. Zarin, you look like you want to say something.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Zarin never wants to say anything.
He either just looks like he's dying or he wants to say something.
Or
So-
he's just gonna chew my head off after the podcast. That's one of the two. I've learned this there.
Coming in at number 5, we have the Toronto Ultra. Again, like I think we all kind of touched this. I have them at number 5. I think just because they won the last event, and I feel like they looked better than New York did, honestly. And like I said, I feel like New York has better firepower. I feel like Toronto plays the game better.
I agree. I also am at number 5 because only because of that win.
I was going back between Toronto. I had thought I put them at 5 as well, but I was just going back and forth between 4th and 3rd. I was like 3rd, and I was like no. I said 4th maybe just because of how well they play against Florida.
If you put Toronto at 3rd, I would have smacked your fucking ass from Brampton, dude.
No, you wouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have fought you too if you threw Toronto at 3rd.
No, but like I think for me it was just kind of the bounce around of Florida and Toronto, just because I asked you before. I said like how many times they've played, how many times Toronto has beat them, like or just like that kind of thing.
But they also.
But yeah, but like I eventually did end up throwing them at 5th.
Yes and no. Also, they haven't played in a while, and so I feel like that you have to think kind of that in a case. I feel like Toronto playing them now would play them a lot harder than what they did before.
Yeah. But I thought Toronto beat them before.
They did, but
Yeah.
that's what I mean. But like it's just different now. You know what I mean? Like
No, I got
it's
you.
been so long. Anybody have anything else to say on Toronto? I feel like we kind of touched on it.
I want to pat myself on the back because I don't think I do that enough. Ever since I said at the beginning of the year, and I know every one of you remember this. Maybe not Zach, he wasn't there, but
What?
you 3 remember this. I said Clean X is gonna find his way into the
Oh,
lineup halfway through the year, and he's gonna stay in the lineup for the rest of the season. And guess what? Fuck.
I think me
Goddamn.
and you both said this, but yes.
Well, I'll give credit to me and me only because I deserve it. I'm sick. Leave me alone.
Here, you did it on
Ever
COVID.
since-
You came back negative.
Yeah, ever since he came into the lineup halfway through the year, Toronto has been on the upslope consistently.
He's definitely
had-
one of the best subs in the game.
Yeah, and they've had their moments where they've been a little bit disappointing at times, I would say, but that they've also had some really really tough brackets.
But they've also
But-
played all their teams hard though.
And what's
Well,
also
Look at those,
yeah,
those maps.
They've never been mollywopped in any of the series that I've watched or that I can recall, and because of that constant upslope, like I have them at number 5. Number 6. One mainly because of that win, but also because I see they're on the right path. They're on a good trend right now, and that leading into the biggest tournament of the year is very, very good. I think they've had the biggest upslope out of any team the entire season.
I feel like the 2-week break might hurt them going into champs though.
Possibly, don't know, but everyone else has had a 2-week break.
That's true.
So
I'm just
I
saying. I
think
feel like it might hurt them.
no, I know, but it may hurt a team like Dallas, because we've seen Dallas after a month break after their home series, they came in and they didn't make top 4 or they didn't make the finals, whatever it was.
Right.
So, I mean,
Dallas
see.
didn't
We'll
look
see
great in
what
the
it
last
is.
event either.
Yeah,
So they did lose, and they lost to Toronto, right? So
Yeah, so we'll see.
yeah.
I Toronto's going the right way though.
I mean,
for sure.
Toronto in the last event they beat they beat what, all 4 of the top teams? No, they beat 3 out of the 4 top teams, because they beat Chicago, they beat Dallas, and then they beat Atlanta to win the chip. So I mean, really impressive stuff in all honesty.
Yeah.
I think they finally found the 5. They have 10 guys, and I think they finally found this 5. Like with Kleenex, that came in I think last tournament or like 2 tournaments ago, and they didn't have. I think didn't they sit Classic and have medals on still or something like that?
The only 2 players they didn't use was Mayhem and Brack.
Yeah, but it's just personally like just watching their play. I think when they brought Classic back and sat medals, and I think this is just the 5 that's just the strongest together and plays the best COD together.
Yeah, and actually Classic was very, very good in the Toronto home series.
Classic's been good all year, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like remember we were ripping on them before for benching him because of that stupidness that all went down. That was just so dumb. And like I feel, thank God they didn't like keep him benched because of that bullshit.
And it's nice to see him perform well after quite honestly a brutal year last year. He was awful in Black Ops 4.
Except for the one event when the Rampart was the best. I do remember that.
It's nice to see him have a bounce back year. So good on you, Classic.
And
good on you.
And moving into spot number 4 is the Chicago Huntsmen. I feel like it's a fair spot to put Chicago. I want to hear where you guys have them before I say though. So I'm gonna throw it to James first this time. James, where you got Chicago slotted in at?
I was on the fence on this one. Maybe because I'm sentimental, but like I wanted to have him at number 3 really bad, but I had to agree with Texerdo and put him at number 4, mainly because I mean we'll get to it, but I have Mutineers in 3rd, but it's mainly because the Mutineers have 3 series wins. It's like
they've mollywopped them all year. They've literally beat them all year.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
But I think it's like same thing I usually say. If like Huntsman could play to their full potential, each and every one of them, then they can maybe win. Maybe like they can maybe beat FaZe, most likely beat Dallas in the finals.
I feel like sorry, go. I'll kind of touch on your point.
That's just kind of what I was saying. It's just like if they're firing full cylinders, if say it became a FaZe Huntsman finals, it would be a tough battle, but I think they could win. But if they're not, they don't stand a chance.
I still feel like they're one of the top teams on paper. It's just a matter of them putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
Zarin. Sorry. I guess no. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I agree, 100%. I have Huntsman as well as number 4. You touched on every point. Like they've just mollywopped they've been mollywopped, I should say, by Florida all year. Florida, like just down the stretch after adding Awakening, have looked like a greater team. And I think James put it like the best perspective. If they played to their potential, they would be probably they would obviously, in my opinion, be above Florida. That's how it is.
And Zarin.
I don't have very much analysis for this, but just you can flip a coin between Florida and Chicago. I think Chicago, like you said, Jesse, I think they're infinitely more talented, but just what Florida's got, they're just different right now.
It's the way they play the game.
Yeah, everything is clicking, and that's your point with Toronto and New York. Toronto and.
No, you were right. It was Toronto, New York.
Yeah, Toronto, New York. Yeah, just how they play the game is just working for them right now. They've been the better team, I think, the back half of the year. So honestly, it's not really a be-all and end-all if I have Chicago at 3, Florida 4. I think Chicago, when they're at the top of their game, is the better team. And if they're going to be at the top of the game, now's the time to do it. This is the biggest tournament of the year.
They shut streams off this week, so we'll see. Maybe they're
Yeah.
maybe they're going harder.
Wasn't
Um,
it Art Cities getting on his
Stumpy's-
teammates?
Yeah, he was. He really was.
Scumpy's gonna play in an even darker room this time.
So my thing with Chicago is, like I said, I think that they are one of, if not the best team on paper, looking historically wise. FaZe as well and Dallas as well, I would say, are the 3 top teams on paper easily. I think that if they pop off, they could win the whole event, but it's going to be hard with it being 2 weekends as well, because that means that they're going to have to come out full fire for 2 weekends in a row, which we don't see very often. So,
Right.
I mean, we've even seen, like, back to old Optic days, right? Like, they could look fantastic on a Saturday night and then come out completely flat on a Sunday morning. So that's what I mean. It's just going to be consistency with them. If they can pop off 2 weekends in a row, sure, they could do it, but it's going to be tough to see. I got them at number 4 because I got Florida, who's beaten them 3 times. It's hard to put them above Florida, in my opinion. And especially recently, Florida's definitely just looked like the better team.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I was just gonna ask. So, like, for FaZe and Empire, they only play on the second weekend, correct? Because like FaZe got the thing until like third rounds winner.
I'm not fully sure how it's going to work. I feel like because like the Monday matches, the Wednesday matches are the New York and Ultra match, I believe. Then the Thursday matches will be Optic and Seattle's matches, and then I think Huntsman will play the winner of New York. Florida plays the winner of the Toronto series on the Friday.
Yeah.
So I think that they'll play on the Sunday. I'm not sure though.
Sunday, okay. Yeah, I just wasn't sure.
Atlanta
plays the winner of, I think, Huntsman and thing.
Yeah. Oh, and also I think
Saturday.
They play Saturday. I think that the only saving grace as well for Huntsman going into this tournament is that they won't play Mutineers until winners finals if both teams are on fire. I think that's a saving grace for them, because I do feel like they'll get beat by Mutineers in earlier rounds, especially.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. Number 3 is Florida from Dexerto. I also have Florida at number 3. I think Florida was really good. I think they were ahead. I think teams have caught up to them. So it should be interesting to see what happens now that teams have caught up. Their last placement, they finished 5th, 6th at Toronto, which was not very good, especially for them in the way that they have been playing. Kind of hope to see them play better, but kind of hope to not see them play better at the same time, because I'm not a huge fan of Florida.
We touched on the points of them. Well, for me anyway, I touched on the points. Like, I have them as well as number 3, and like you said before, like.
Yeah, like I said, I have number at 3 for the 3 series wins, but also Dallas has 3 series wins. So, I think if it was between them two, Dallas would outshine them. So I have them at number 2. But yeah, no, I think it's fair to keep them at 3.
And Zarin.
I have a number 4. I gave my analysis.
I honestly, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that you had them at.
He flipped.
I didn't hear that you had Chicago at 3. That's my bad.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Again, it could be 3, 4. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Number 2, I'm actually interested to see where you guys have these teams all stacked up. Number 2 is Dallas on Dexerto's. Where do you guys have them at?
James, you can go first.
I have them at 2. And they're obviously Shotzi's been going off recently, but like with the likes of Clayster and Crim6, like they're a seasoned team who can handle themselves under pressure. But the reason I have them at number 2 is because FaZe is just a bunch of cracked out little kids, and if they get,
it's the same thing you've said in week 1 of the podcast. It's FaZe is just a bunch of cracked out little kids, and that's why you have them at number 1.
No, because if they get in that zone of where they're just going a million miles an hour, you can't beat them.
So I feel like we should kind of we'll touch on FaZe and them, like, and where you have both of them.
Yeah, because it's between these two
teams. Yeah. So we can touch on both. So the reasoning that you have Atlanta above them is because of cracked out little kidsness, or what?
Yeah, because like if they're firing 100% going a million miles an hour, I don't care who you are, you're not beating them. So now, granted, if it's a 1v1 round 11. And it
comes down to
Clayster, Yeah, it's like Clayster and Celium or something. Yeah, or Simp. I give the edge to Clayster because I think he's just better at reading those situations. But overall, I think FaZe would take it if they're going full speed.
And
Yeah.
so Zarin, who you got 2-1? I think you said you had Dallas at number 1.
I have Dallas 1 and Atlanta 2. Look, Dallas is the best team in the game, plain and simple. Atlanta is like right there. Like
I have an
there.
argument for this. But go ahead.
Dallas, Clayster, Karim have 4 champs rings between them. They have 50-plus tournament wins between them. I don't see how they lose this event. Absolutely no way they lose this event. With how good their team is, how good they've been all year, and just that experience, the playing under pressure, just the ice. Clayster's going back to back in a chance. Best team in the game.
Sure, Simp's not going back to back.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm pretty positive.
All right. My rebuttal to you is, or at least the reasoning for me among having Dallas at number 2 and Atlanta at number 1 was the last time they played Atlanta smacked them, which is
3-0.
I'm just saying that's definitely a strong reason. You can't even say it's not.
It's one match.
Well, but also I mean
3-0 Seattle Surge, they 3-0 Dallas.
That and I think that Dallas like just even like looking at Dallas versus Toronto, Dallas went to what, 4 maps? Atlanta went to 5.
Dallas to 5.
I don't know. Like I feel like I just feel like Atlanta. I feel like you could go either way. I feel like Atlanta after
100%.
with the way that they are. If Atlanta's firing on full cylinder, I feel like they'll still beat Dallas firing on full cylinders, which is really hard to say, but I do feel like it. Honestly, Sorry?
I was just gonna say, I just cannot wait for that matchup. That's gonna be so.
It's gonna be one of the best matchups.
Are they?
So fucking fun to watch.
Where would
they'll
match at the
winners finals?
I was just saying the only way they match up is winners finals, which I don't have predicted, unfortunately.
Or /A in grand finals.
You know, it'd be crazy to see them in a losers final. Could you imagine?
That'd be, yeah.
I love that shit.
But just to finish I had the FaZe at 1 and Dallas at 2. Just to kind of go off James' point, there's Atlanta's just cracked out kids, man. Like,
who would have thought having Dallas at number 1 was a fucking hot take?
I do, but see, I don't fully think that Dallas doesn't deserve to be number 1. I just feel like off of previous like matches that's why. But also they could have just been trying out different things though then too. Like you never know.
Yeah. But no, like just like you said, I've been, obviously y'all know I've been high on FaZe all year. It's been pretty obvious I've been high on FaZe. Do I think that they're light years ahead of Dallas, or like they're a very, very better team than Dallas? No way in hell. Like Zarin said, but the opposite way for FaZe. I think they're just there. I think it just can go either way. It's just a flip of a switch of who's hotter that week. Yeah. I think that's kind of the best way to put it, and not necessarily saying like, oh, these guys 100% of the time, or I see, like, for example, I see Atlanta winning 100% of the time, or I see Dallas winning 100% of the time. It's just like, who's gonna go off? Like, are we gonna see Simp break his record and drop a 55 or 50 or 60 bomb? Are we gonna see Crim 6 return to old form and just go off the entire week? Are we gonna see Clayster go into form of what he did last year to help EU win? Like, there's so many possibilities both teams. I think it's just, you can't really say distinctively which team is first and which team is second.
It'd be crazy if neither one of these teams makes the grand final. Could you imagine?
That would blow my mind.
Could you imagine?
Well, that's why I was saying it's situational. Because I think if at least in respawns, if like FaZe, once they start to edge out that lead, they pretty much have it in the bag. But when it comes down to the more strategic, like IQ situations, I'm not saying they're dumb by any means.
FaZe has been the best S&D team all year.
No, I know that, but I'm talking about like end of season. I guess it's online, so you probably don't. You obviously don't have that pressure, but like end of season, everything's on the line for this. Dallas just has more experience being in that situation.
They have that ice edge because of the veterans in Crim 6.
For sure.
That's a reasonable thing to say.
Yeah.
You can't, there's no way to ever argue that.
Yes, but to that is what kind of like what like they were like. Remember at the start of the year, James, when you were saying that the only way that you see them losing is because of like their inexperience. I feel like this year that they've kind of proven that their like inexperience doesn't fully matter. So
definitely, yeah, earlier in the year, I was just saying like, yeah, inexperience is what's gonna come and bite them in the ass.
which I feel like they've kind of proven against.
Now I'm still kind of the same way. Not now. It's like, well, if it comes to a really specific situation, their experience is gonna be the downfall.
I think personally, if they end up playing each other, it's gonna come down between, like obviously we're gonna the players are gonna have their moments, but I think it's gonna come down between Shotzi and Abizi. Just those two, how they like their play styles with the SMG. I think
Shotzi's definitely an X factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think if Abizi can play how he does, like where he flanks in SND or he's the pesky player. I think if he can do that, he can be an X factor as well.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Zern?
Sorry. One thing I wanted to mention was Pristini. He over the last few events has been very, very not good. Like he's
not
been,
good.
He went on a 17 streak one game, or like a 15 streak game.
You might want to fact check that. I think that Scump has been the most inconsistent part of Chicago.
What was that tournament? No, Pristini was incredibly bad for like 2 tournaments straight. Like it was
It's definitely not the most recent one.
Yeah, you talking about the beginning before he took the mental health break?
Oh no! You know what? I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the event that they missed.
Sorry,
you're talking about
Sorry, Priesta.
Oh,
not Pristini.
Yes, okay, yes, Priesta, yes.
Oh, Priesta.
Right.
Priesta's been Priesta's been.
Why is Pristini being brought?
I was just saying, Pristini's been playing fantastic.
He just wanted to come at you with the Huntsman. That's all.
Yeah, I'm just straight up delusional.
That point, Priesta.
Yeah.
Yes, but Priesta's also been focusing a lot more on multiplayer than he has on anything else again recently, which I think he'll come out and play a lot better. But I
hope he does, because he's been, very unimpressive. And there was that one event, I think it was a New York event.
He had like a .69 KD.
Oh, it was awful. It was just so hard to watch him play. And he just went through it all tournament. They made the finals.
I'm sure Crowder's been on their asses.
Oh, Crowder's been yeah. I think isn't Priesta more of an AR type player, or like is he a sub? Because like I saw him
he plays both
back in BO4.
He can do whatever.
I know.
I think he pulled an AR in this last tournament, and he just played a lot better. Like he played not a lot better.
Oh, actually, that is true. Casellium went off of the second AR, and Priesta went on to it. That is true.
He started playing. With
Which honestly, I don't fully like as well, because like Cellium is such a good AR.
Cellium is a great player.
I know, I know Replays is getting those guys mentally prepared for this, Replays. And that's his.
I know.
I don't care.
I just haven't heard it in so many years.
He's,
every time.
Him being former teammates with Priesta too is like, it's only gonna help him. So I hope to see him back in championship caliber, because I know he can. He's that good.
Yeah. I do agree.
It's gonna be great. Yeah. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be absolutely great.
So I know we've kind of been rolling for a while, but we still do have our predictions that we have to get into. So I think what we'll do for predictions is we'll kind of just talk about our first 4 matchups, and then we'll just talk about who we think is going to be the winner. Because it's kind of hard to go over a whole bracket because there's so many different scenarios that could happen. So we'll just kind of predict the first 4 matches that are guaranteed matches to happen, and then who you think will be the winner of the whole thing. And that's how we're more so going to do it next year too, when we actually keep count of all of our stuff. But I'm going to throw up James' bracket first. James, I want to hear what you got to say about your bracket. Convince me, sir.
All right. So I have Minnesota beating New York, 3-2.
Upset to start. All right.
Yeah, I like you. You know me. I like a good upset. I think I definitely
love my bracket.
But that's why I have it. That's why I have it 3-2. Like I don't think whichever way it goes, if New York wins or Minnesota wins,
you don't have a single 3-0 on your bracket.
I don't see any 3-0s happening. At least how it's formatted right now, I don't see a 3-0 happening. And then Toronto beating London. Toronto's just been coming off the win like on a different level, and like I said, London is spectacularly average. Like I don't see them beating them. And then Optic 3-1 Gorillas. I don't think I have to say much to that because Gorillas just been on the struggle bus all season long. And then I have Legion beating Seattle 3-2 because what we said earlier, kind of if Kismet can go off and they can hit their stride, I think they can edge one out.
And so on your bracket, you have Empire coming from winners finals, and Huntsman coming from losers finals, and Huntsman coming back to win 5-3 over Dallas as your champion. Give me a little bit about that.
That's more so me being kind of biased. I mean, there's nothing though that's more on fire than Scump at a championship Sunday. So put him in a final situation.
I mean, you know he's gonna want to beat Krim. So I mean,
right.
if it does get to that point, maybe I could see that.
I'm thinking about the week one when like they matched up Dallas versus. Granted, there wasn't really anything on the line other than it being the first event and going up against Krim. But like, I think if he brings that same energy, it's gonna be a good matchup.
All right, so you got Chicago as your champions coming out of CDL. I'm gonna go to Zach on this next one. I'm gonna save Zarin till second last. So Zach, we're gonna throw up your bracket right now. Give me your talk to me about your 4 picks from the first 4 matchups.
The first 4 matches. So I got Subliners taking it over Rocker 3-1. I've just been it's not that I've been high. Well, I have been high on this New York team
On their cock. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
as Zarin would say. But no, ever since the addition of Mac, they've just been playing a whole new team, and I think they're just gonna come out of the gates and play really well against Minnesota, especially now that GodRx is not off the team but benched. I got the Ultra taking it 3-2 over the Royal Ravens. My only reasoning is that I can just kind of see the Ravens kind of just being a little thorn in the side of Ultra, being a first match, but just how hot Ultra's been and just how high well they've been playing, they can edge out the series. I got Optic taking it 3-0 against Gorillas. Again, like we stated, Gorillas just been a pretty shit year, if I'm being honest.
So that should be their
really.
And kind of a hot take, your next one.
This is my super hot take. I put Paris doing a 3-0 in Seattle. I don't really have a reasoning. I just kind of went with what my gut was feeling, and you know what? It was feeling a little bit.
Are you
spicy.
sick?
No, I'm not there. I'm not there.
Okay.
No. But you know what? It just in my mind, I was like, they're gonna play a game, and like game 2, something's gonna happen to Seattle's team. One guy's gonna lag out, and they're gonna be like, you know what? Paris gets the map. It's just something's gonna go wrong for Seattle, and I could just kind of feel it. That was kind of my gut instinct.
And then so on Zach's bracket, Zach has FaZe coming out of winners 3-run over Dallas, and he's got Toronto coming out of losers 3-2 over Dallas.
That's my crazy.
So your finals. Talk to me about your finals. FaZe versus Ultra.
So I have Ultra going all the way through. Just not necessarily saying that they're a better team, but just saying like they've been playing really smart Call of Duty lately, and I think the team has just been projected going up a bit. They played very well this past week against the top 4, the top teams. But for me, just something about the roster, and like we talked about it, I think Simp this weekend is just gonna have not necessarily a breakout, but he's just gonna have an impactful weekend, and I think he's just gonna go off. And yeah, that's just kind of it. I just see FaZe obviously being the stronger team over Toronto by the end of it.
All right, and Zarin, I'll throw your bracket up now. Are you ready to talk about your four first matchups here?
I am. Well, first up, New York against Minnesota. Don't really think Minnesota has much of a chance. New York's going to come out hot. That fire is going to be extinguished though later on. But New York taking the first series 3-1. Minnesota again, not much of a chance. Originally, my first version of this bracket, I had Minnesota beating them, but I accidentally closed it, and then when it came up the second time, I was like,
had a chance to reconsider.
Okay. Yeah. So
He's like, God looked down upon me.
The COD gods were telling me to pick New York, so I did. 3-1 for them. Minnesota takes the domination. Second match, we got London against Toronto. Toronto 3-2. Gotta think. I don't know. I just don't see London hanging with Toronto right now. They're just in too good a form. So it'll be close, but not good enough for London to beat Toronto. So moving on to losers bracket round 1, Optic takes it 3-2. I don't think either LAs are good at all, but I'll give Optic the slight edge here with the Gorillas taking the hard point and the second hard point and search and destroy with LA Optic with the victory. Paris, Seattle. I got Seattle going on a little bit of a nice little losers bracket run. 3-1 taking out Paris. Paris winning the S&D, going undefeated on the weekend, as per usual.
You know how they do.
And then and then for Zarin, you got your winners bracket final. You got Dallas coming out 3-2 over FaZe. You have Toronto going 3-2 over FaZe in the losers final to set up a final of Dallas Empire versus Toronto Ultra. Tell me about that.
Oh my God, we both got Ultra in the finals there.
This was tricky for me because I had obviously winners round 3. Dallas's first match of the tournament would have been against Toronto, according to my bracket. Dallas taking out Toronto 3-1. I don't think it was going to be that close. And then you look at the lower half of the bracket, you see Toronto taking out Florida on the way to taking out FaZe as well. They obviously took out Chicago, Atlanta, and Dallas in their home series, which was unbelievable, and that's why I can see them doing it again. Florida's going to be tricky because I have them beating them twice.
Sorry, so wait, do you have Toronto win? Oh, okay, no, you have Dallas winning. Okay.
Yeah. So I have every series Toronto wins is a game 5, and there's 5 of them. Which
that's a lot of S&Ds to win.
That is a lot of S&Ds to win or lose. So they're gonna have to be really good in respawn, and they're gonna have to clutch up in that game 5. So, it's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be so hard for them to beat a team like Florida twice, but I see them doing it. And if finals was a best of 5, I could possibly see Toronto taking it in 3 games. In 5 games, but just, to win 5 maps off of a team like Dallas.
Dallas has a stronger map pool. It's literally what it is.
Yeah, my heart wanted Toronto to win so bad, but I just don't see them taking 5 maps off of Dallas, so I have Dallas winning 5-3.
All right.
It will be a great grand final. So
I feel you there, Zarin. My heart wanted Toronto to win.
I think all of our hearts wanted Toronto to win in some way.
We're such
except for James. James just wants Nashville to do well. Whoever the fuck.
I just want Nashville to fork up the money and start a franchise already.
Jess, you said it so many times. We're such closeted Toronto fans.
Yeah, well, I mean, we really are. Like,
it's great.
Zarin's not really in the closet anymore, but.
No, me and you are so close.
I'm gonna throw up my bracket. Now, my bracket, I know y'all about to give me some hot takes on this. So, I'm gonna go over my first 4 matches. I got New York over Minnesota 3-1. I'm not really gonna get into these too much. I got Toronto over London 3-1. You guys have all heard my reasonings to these before. Optic over LAG 3-0. I think LAG isn't gonna win a map. Seattle over Paris 3-1. That's my first 4 rounds. Now, I'm quite disappointed in myself with this bracket because I really didn't choose many upsets because I don't feel like there's going to be very many this weekend. I actually have Chicago coming out of winner's side. This is a hot take because they are going to have to play well 2 weekends in a row, like I said. But I got Chicago coming out 3-1 over Dallas in the winner's side. I got FaZe coming out over Dallas in the loser's bracket side. It's funny because I have FaZe losing to Optic or to Huntsman early and then coming back down. So my FaZe Huntsman match early, I have Huntsman taking 3-0, which is crazy. But then you move down, I have FaZe going on a little bit of a loser's bracket run to set up the finals where I'm going to say FaZe is going to take the finals over Huntsman. We're finally going to get to see the matchup that we've wanted to see all year of a fantastic match between the 2 teams. I got FaZe taking it 5-4 over Huntsman. It should be interesting because Huntsman do start with a map if they come out of winners, right? And it'll be a best of 8. I think FaZe will have a stronger map pool in an 8 map series than Huntsman will. That's why I've Huntsman taken the 5 map series, and I have FaZe taking the whole chip, winning 5-4 over Huntsman in the 9 map series. That's just my personal opinion. It's going to be hard to see this happen because I do have the top 4 teams coming out. So not very many upsets coming from there, but that is indeed what I think is going to happen this weekend.
I don't know what you mean. My bracket's obviously gonna win. Okay, obviously. It's gonna all start when Paris 3-0 is Seattle.
I'm actually interested. I would like to just hear Zaren's thoughts on my bracket.
I'm not entirely mad at it. One thing that I disagree with the most is that I don't think Chicago is gonna fucking mollywop Atlanta in their first matchup.
They've done it before,
but it's not gonna happen again. You know, I don't see it. I don't see Dallas kind of getting shit on by Chicago and Atlanta as well, back to back. I just don't see it. I don't hate you for putting Florida up that high, because I can absolutely see them. They're the top four teams. Top four teams should place top four, right? So not mad at that. A little bit upset that you.
I don't fully think my bracket's going to come through, but I mean, this is like barring basically no upsets on the weekend.
Yeah. It's not bad nonetheless. The other thing, I don't like Optic taking 2 maps up the Toronto. Come on.
I think the last time they played it went to Game 5 as well. No.
They did. Come on.
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know. Anyways, let's move on kind of to our final thoughts. Are we doing a guarantee and a upset of the event, or?
Well, mine are. You guys already know mine.
Well, obviously your upset's gonna be fucking Paris beating what's it called in the first round. I feel like that's your upset for sure.
Seattle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would call that an upset. Paris winning anything is an upset.
Well, Paris winning at 3-0 as well. I feel like.
I'm gonna be such a big Paris fan for that one series.
So I feel like he's looking back at his bracket like, why the fuck did I choose that like that?
I honestly think I was just hitting things. I was like, yeah, sure. I just went forward. I honestly didn't think. But I'm gonna be such a big. If that comes true, I think I deserve the 100K.
Just for that one match.
That one match.
just for Paris winning a series 3-0.
Oh my god. Any final thoughts from anybody? If we're not going to do a guarantee and a disappointment,
I'll do a guarantee and an upset.
okay.
My upset. It's gonna be, I guess, multiple. It'll be Toronto the entire weekend. They'll beat Florida twice, and I think they're gonna knock off Atlanta in order to make it to the finals. I'm excited to see what they can do. They're starting to become a very exciting team. I think they're gonna upset a few teams, even if they don't make the finals. They're gonna make some noise, upset a few tournament lives. Excited to see what they can do. Guarantee of the week. Huntsman don't make it into the Final Four.
That's your guarantee.
Guarantee.
So
Interesting.
they don't make it in Final Four.
Yeah, I could even say that Paris. Another guarantee. Paris will go undefeated in S&D.
No, what do you mean? They're gonna go.
I really hope they get 3-0'd by Seattle and actually lose the SD. Just so I can laugh at you next week.
Hey, no, they're gonna 3-0 Seattle. Come on.
All right, James. Let me get a guarantee and a disappointment from you.
Seriously.
Huh. I want to say, as far as like I want to say as far as disappointment, I think part of me thinks for some reason that the Gorillas might take the series over Optic. That would be a big upset in my book if that happens. Super unlikely.
Slasher out losers round 1. Could you imagine?
I could be an upset. I could definitely see that.
I take that as an upset. And then, but my guarantee, it's nothing major, but Paris is going to take the series over Seattle.
3-0.
This is the guarantee. All right.
I will put money on that match right now. I will do $5 per person. That's
Done.
Seattle takes it.
If they win 3-0, I'm going to go buy a lottery because
$5 Canadian.
$5 Canadian.
Oh,
What, James, what is that for? What is that? What is that for you? $3.25? Like it's less.
More.
It's less for you.
It'd be more for him.
Okay, I'll match it. Okay, so it's $6.50
For every dollar we
Canadian
have,
for
it's
you.
$1.13 for him.
Yeah, so
yeah.
$6.50 Canadian. I'll give you James and $5 for Zach.
Okay. And Zach, what is your guarantee and your disappointment?
Well, obviously, my the disappointment / upset is going to be 3-0 of Paris on Seattle.
if that happens.
What do you mean? If it's gonna get, it's gonna happen. All right?
I'm
That's
more-
even the last
I-
podcast we ever do. If Paris 3-0.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. If Paris 3-0 Seattle, I don't think I will. Well, actually, I'm not gonna say it because you know what, it's possible, but
Exactly. But no, my guarantee. I don't know. I don't really know what can guarantee because like what we've learned from the last couple weeks of Call of Duty is
that's a
literally
bitch
anything
out
can
answer
happen.
and a half.
But no,
Give
but
me a
like,
guarantee.
I'm gonna go with. If FaZe wins, it's gonna be solely on Simp's play. Like I think Simp is gonna drop at least. No. I think Simp in these games. I think Simp's gonna drop 6 40 bombs and maybe two 250s. That's my guarantee.
That's your guarantee. Okay, that's
my
a
guarantee.
that is a 640 and 250.
So if we're putting money on this, I would like to say that.
Holy fuck! I want to
feeling
know the
ballsy.
biggest odds
I'm
on
feeling
that.
I'm feeling ballsy, all right. I got Paris going 3 against Seattle. All right?
Yo,
It all started there.
So James,
Maybe hold on,
James, you missed it. The first ever week Zach was on the podcast, his guarantee was that Simp was going to drop a 50 bomb, and
He did.
literally every single time after he's now done this, he has come out with his guarantee being some bullshit with Simp. Literally, it's what it has been every single time.
I
basically-
guarantee- one of my
He
guarantees-
basically just simps for Simp. He basically just simps for Simp.
Yeah, you know, honestly, like that guy's good.
This is also the same motherfucker who put LA Optic at 4 on the power rankings when they finished in.
And the same dude that was supposed to shave his head when Toronto made it out of groups and didn't do it.
Yeah,
I shaved the sides.
this guy.
Yeah, 3 months later.
People in the comments gotta attack this motherfucker.
And, like they used to attack you.
My internet just kicked me off. Okay,
That
was really weird.
interesting. Well, all right. So my disappointment of the event, I'm gonna go is Dallas not making a finals will be my disappointment. I feel like they should be making the grand finals, but they're not going to. And my guarantee of the event is I'm gonna rebuttal Zaren's, and I'm getting guarantee you Huntsman finish top 4.
Ooh, want to put money on them?
I want to change
I'll
my
put
guarantee now.
I'll put $10 on Huntsman making top 4.
But all right.
I'm stealing it
Are you
right
guys?
now.
Aren't you guys
We're stealing it.
technically already betting that Huntsmen don't make top 4?
Well, that's what the bet would be. I'm betting that they do. He bets that they don't.
Right. Okay. So not a new bet. I was about to say I don't know if you guys know how bets work, but you're already betting the same.
No, I don't think we've made that bet yet.
Guaranteed to win.
Isn't that the
But-
one we made? Or was that just between me and Zarin?
No, that was. Wasn't that about something else? Sorry,
Was
that
it
was
that?
about the Paris match.
Paris.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So yeah, I'm willing to put $10 on Huntsman making top 4.
You got easy cash, bro. All right.
All right, bet. Zaren's about to be.
Hold on.
Zaren's about to.
I'm never going
Zaren's
back
about to
to
make
it.
$10
It's easy.
off of these two, and then give it to me. It's nice.
Yeah, dude. Exactly.
Listen, I'm gonna change guarantee just to saying Toronto goes to the finals. That's what I'm.
That's a
gonna go
crazy
with.
guarantee. That's a hot take.
Yeah.
that's not a
That's-
guarantee.
that's- gonna be
That
it.
shit might be crazier than the 640 bombs than the 250.
Yeah, honestly. Do we have any final thoughts going into champs? I just really hope it's a good champs. Honestly,
I'm just looking.
I
forward
hope
to it.
I hope
It's gonna
there's
be
no
exciting.
technical difficulties. There's no bullshit. I hope that we get
Oh.
straight Call of Duty. That's what I really
They've
want.
got
to
it. They've got it down pat. They never do that to us.
I'm just really looking forward to it.
Yeah, okay, James. Yo, wait. Do you think that they have the pause feature online yet? That's the real question. Because they had that for LAN, the very first event, but we haven't seen it online yet.
I'm just looking forward to Paris, man. I just want to see 3.
Oh my god. Yeah, Zach
If it
is just
happens-
looking forward to Thursday's matches. Zarin, hit me with something. Hit me with something. Any final thoughts?
I'm just excited to see some good COD, man. I think every match is going to be really, really good, no matter who's playing. It's going to be intense. It's going to feel like COD champs. I'm excited.
You know what I'm excited for?
What?
This to be the last fucking Modern Warfare event. Anyways.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what am I excited for? Cold War 2020.
2021.
It's going to be even better because there's no Rich Campbell there. And it's going to be a great fucking time, man. And you know what? I'm sad to see, Momo not there.
I miss Momo
all-
Benson so
I
much.
miss Benson.
We
so
all know the
much,
shit
man.
that's going on with him, so I don't want to really talk too much about that, but it's going to be different without
Doesn't
him.
feel
but
the same.
Yeah, I think Chance and Miles have been really good together actually.
Yeah.
What you like seeing Chance's pizza every single time they cast together?
It's always a different pizza. Different
I think it's a good chemistry because Miles is more of like a silly kind of casual caster, where Chance is more the hardcore analytic kind of guy.
You know
It's
what's
a good combination.
you know what's hilarious about Miles too is Miles has such a way with his words and
I know.
word tying
Some of the
things
words
together.
he comes up with is just ridiculous. I love it.
Yeah, he is something else for sure. Any final thoughts, James?
That's basically it. I'm just looking forward to a fun finals, whoever it is.
And Zach, I think you said your final thoughts, or
It's just gonna honestly, it's gonna be such a fun 2 weeks of COD, and I think like just to soak like because of the whole thing, like it's been like we can all agree it's been a shitty year with the pandemic, with everything going on like outside of the Call of Duty world. And I think for people that are COD fans, this is gonna be like that one big distraction that everyone's looking forward to.
I agree. I'm very much so looking forward to this weekend. Anyways, guys, that's about gonna wrap it up for the Round 11 podcast tonight. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social medias, all our Twitters, our Twitches. Everything will be down in the description below. Like I said, I hope it's going to be a fantastic weekend of Call of Duty and YouTube. We'll see you guys later.